What's up, guys? You want to see what a year of dirt and grime looks like? Where you're looking right at it. So we're going to take all the proper procedures to make sure that we have a safe clean to make this ride all fresh and clean. What's up, guys? Welcome to Chemical Guys Detail Garage. Do you have a ride that's been sitting for a year? Well, we have this very neglected Mazda 3 right here, and Joey, tell them what it's covered in.
Probably covered in like 2 inches of dirt and grime. You have some bird turds on the top of the roof. You even have some rat turds on the very back of the trunk. So this vehicle was parked in a parking complex for about a year or so. The owner has been working from home, so he hasn't really seen much, I guess, what would you say, much effort in driving the car, or let alone cleaning it or maintaining it. So this is pretty much the result that we have. So it's completely dirty, it's completely filthy. This thing is probably one of the worst, dirtiest vehicles that's probably came around here.
So stay tuned while we show you the proper procedures, how to clean this ride safe and clean and get it all fresh. So to start off this wheel detail, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse down the wheel, get all the dirt and contamination off. And then I'm gonna get my wheel cleaner, spray the tire and the wheel as well, get all that junk off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and activate my bucket and spray wheel cleaner onto my red rocket just to have added lubrication and cleaning power. We're gonna scrub deep into the barrel. We're gonna start from top to bottom to make sure that we do a nice and even clean. Get really deep in there. Make sure that all the dirt and grime is out. And then we're gonna move on to our green flag tip brush. I'm gonna spray it with some more wheel cleaner for more cleaning power and scrub down the face, get into the little cracks and crevices and make sure that all around this face of the wheel is clean. Now we're gonna move on to our Boar's hair brush so I can get the finer details, more wheel cleaner, scrub those lug nuts and get into those smaller cracks and crevices that my green flag tip brush cannot. Now we're gonna move on to the nifty brush. We're gonna scrub down the tire to get all of that leftover dressing, dirt and grime that's built up on the surface off. And now I'm gonna rinse it and get all of this off, and look at that wheel. It looks amazing. It's all fresh and clean. Right after we rinse everything off, you can see how much of a difference it is. That is amazing. So we just finished cleaning up the wheels. You can see how filthy they were. Now they are nice and pristine. So we're gonna move on to the heavy, heavy grime, which is on the body of the paint. So we have in front of us to help us clean up all this dirt and grime on the ride is our 2-bucket method, our foam cannon, and our chenille wash mitts. Joey, can you break it down for us why we're having this whole setup?
So, AJ, you gotta look at this paint. This thing is absolutely filthy. So we wanna make sure that we're using safety precautions. We wanna make sure that we're using the ultimate filtration, because the last thing that we wanna do is be scratching up the paint when we're just trying to wash it up. So that's why we have this whole combination of products, which I'll go ahead and break down right now. So the first being the 2-bucket method. Now we use this method because this is gonna help us filter out any kind of abrasives that are on the paint. If you can see closely, you'll see that there's a lot of dirt, debris, bird poop and stuff like that. All that stuff can be abrasive to your paint and can actually scratch your paint if you're not being careful and using filtration like this. So the dirt trap has these cyclonic filters on them that pretty much filter out any kind of abrasives through the dirt trap and keeps it at the bottom of your bucket so that it doesn't resurface and you're not pretty much washing your vehicle with the same grime that you're taking off. So these go at the bottom of your bucket. So you simply put them in at an angle, and then as you get towards the bottom, you set them down flat. And they pretty much stay there. They create a little suction down there so that they stay down there, filtering your wash water. Now right here, we also have our foam cannon, which AJ just mentioned. Now we're using the foam cannon because we definitely want some serious thick lubricating studs on this vehicle. We don't want to go in raw. We don't want to go in without any kind of lubrication because we can actually scratch up the vehicle if we're not being careful. So citrus washing gloss, it's a great soap. We're just going to make sure the cap is not on there. So AJ has already taken the liberty of filling it up with some water so that we don't have to waste any time filling it up. So it's already filled up with water, and all we're going to do now is I'm feeling like it's a 2-ounce kind of day. Yeah,
I think it's a little more than 2 ounces over here.
2 ounces right here. We're gonna apply into the foam cannon. So that's gonna be equivalent to 2 good squirts. So 1, 2, and we're all good to foam. But before we do that, we just wanna make sure that we put our foam cannon nozzle back on here. And then we just wanna twist that on. And before you go crazy shaking it, all you want to do is give it a stir. So just stir it in there, make sure that the soap and water solution are mixed together. You don't want it to foam up in there, you want to have your solution because it's pretty much drawing through the foam cannon, and this part of your foam cannon is what's pretty much causing it to foam up. You don't want it to foam up in here. So now that that's all set up, all we really have left to do is give it a rinse, and then we'll give it the first coat of foam. Now, AJ, I'm thinking that we're going to go ahead and foam this twice just because of how I mean, do I really have to?
Yeah, I honestly, just looking at it, like, it really needs a lot of attention to detail when it comes to something like this. It is really caked on there. It's been a year, so I don't know, like rinsing it off, I want to see what the color looks like actually.
Well, we'll find out right now. So we're gonna give it a rinse. We're gonna give it 1 coat of foam with the citrus washing gloss. And what we're gonna do, AJ, is, you know, normally we just kind of go in for the wash, but in this case, since it's so dirty, we're actually gonna foam it, and then we're gonna let that lather for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're gonna rinse that coat of foam off.
Okay.
Reason we're doing that is because we wanna make sure that we uplift as much dirt and debris as we can from the surface before we actually get into wiping it down with our wash mitts. So we're gonna rinse it, foam it, let it dwell, and then we're gonna rinse it again, and then we're gonna foam it one more time, and then we'll proceed with the contact wash. So, AJ, do you wanna do the honors?
Of course.
Here you go, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Alrighty guys, so AJ just finished foaming up the car. After he foamed it up, he let it dwell for about 30 seconds to a minute, then we rinsed it off, and now we can proceed with the contact wash. So right here we have our 2 dirt trap bucket methods set up already. Now all we have to do, AJ, is dedicate one of these as our soap buckets. So which ones are you feeling? You want the green dirt trap or the black dirt trap?
I like to go rinse and then soap bucket, so always left, right.
Okay,
So,
that's a good rule of thumb, left, right. So we're gonna go ahead and put about an ounce of citrus washing gloss in there. And then right now, once we turn on our pressure washer one more time to give the car a foam, we're actually gonna activate the suds. So that's one big thing that you do wanna do as well. Don't just pour your soap in there, dunk your wash mitt and go to your car. Activate the suds, because that's what's really gonna get it all foamed up and nice and lubricated. So AJ, here you go once again. I'll let you foam it once more and then we'll start wiping it down.
Will do. Let's do it. So I just finished foaming up the vehicle for a second time. So we're gonna go ahead and use our 2 bucket method and go ahead and scrub down the car. We're gonna do this method just so we don't install any more scratches and we make sure to make this ride fresh and clean. Let's get to it. Woo. And we'd like to mention that we're using our nice green microfiber chenille wash mitts. Joey, tell them more about the chenille wash mitt.
So the chenille wash mitt is actually pretty great for wiping down your vehicle, especially when it's as dirty as this, because of all the noodles that it has. Now these noodles, they kind of help filter out any kind of abrasives throughout your wash mitt. So just like when you're wiping your vehicle with the microfiber towel, you know, it uses the naps of the microfiber to kind of filter out any kind of abrasives in the fibers of the towel. So then that way you're not scratching up your vehicle. And the cool thing about it is it has 2 sides, so you can actually use the opposite side as well. So don't just stick to one side, you can actually flip it around and get more around the vehicle so that you're not going back and forth as many times to your wash and rinse bucket.
Look at that, all that grime on there. We're gonna go ahead and use our rinse bucket, bring it in, scrub it against the dirt trap so it'll trap it at the bottom so we don't bring it back and install scratches onto the paint. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wring it out. Get all that dirt, grime, and loose stuff off. And then we're gonna go back into our soap bucket, get some lubrication, and go back to the ride. you can see that Joey rinsed down the vehicle. It looks amazing. Now we're just gonna go ahead and dry it up. We're gonna use a combination of the Pro Blow and the Woolly Mammoth. We're also gonna use afterwash so we can break down the tension of all that water that is on the surface so we can get the best dry out of this vehicle. So let's get right to it.
Let's do it.
And there you guys have it. Look at this vehicle. It looks amazing. That was a nice cleanup, Joey.
It did. It looked really nice. Honestly, I would say that it hasn't looked this good in over a year, which is, I wouldn't be wrong, right? So it looks great. Citrus washing gloss definitely left that freshly waxed look. And if you guys didn't know about that, about citrus washing gloss, it is citrus based, does a hell of a job at cleaning and an amazing job at giving you that nice freshly waxed look.
There we have it. So if you guys like any of the products that you saw today, stop by chemicalguys.com or your local detail garage. I'm AJ.
I'm Joey.
And this is Chemical Guys Detail Garage.